4% growth in container traffic, which is interesting, bearing in mind the potential for tariffs and trade wars. Now, Maersk did caution that trouble in the Red Sea and the new tariffs could cut into that growth. So I guess that share price rise was more rear view mirror. Anna Stewart's with me. She's been speaking to the Maersk CEO, Vincent Clerc, who must be extremely concerned on all these issues.
Well, you think he would be, but I have to say the man was fairly bullish. He does think there will be global trade growth of 4% this year. That is actually less than he was saying just in December, or the company was. They gave a range, I think, between 5 and 7%. And clearly, there are huge headwinds. And Richard, it's quite hard to know where to begin if you're talking about global trade and shipping in terms of headwinds. You've got tariffs on the one hand between China and the US, possibly also with Canada and Mexico, possibly tariffs with Europe. You have the ongoing issue with the Red Sea, which this shipping giant is still not using due to security risks. And then, of course, you've got all the back and forth in the last 24 hours about the Panama Canal. That is where we started our conversation. Just how concerned is he?
The Panamanian government has a strong interest in keeping operations running in the Panama Canal, and everything I'm hearing from the U.S. administration is they also want the Panama Canal to function. They want it to function smoother, and they would like it to be cheaper to use. In any case, the thing that both of them agree on is that transit needs to be fluid, because this is such a crucial piece of infrastructure for the world.
How significant is it in terms of global trade?
It is, of course, quite important. There is not as much traffic going through Panama as there is going through Suez, and we have seen the amount of disruption that that not being able to sail through Suez has caused. But this is obviously very, very important for the United States, because about 60 to 70% of the cargo who transit through the Panama Canal is actually cargo that either goes to or from the United States.
A lot of the sort of concern, I suppose, from the US side is the influence of China on the Panama Canal. Is that something you have ever been concerned about as someone who operates through it?
I think from our perspective, the concerns that we have when it comes to the Panama Canal is twofold. First of all, is the quality of the service and the infrastructure that we have along the canal. And on that front, I think that we have seen good levels of service. The second is actually the intense pressure that there is on operations in general in Latin America, with narco trafficking and security concerns in general. And this is a problem that has, for us, an increasing surface and is more and more important to address. So on that, we have some concerns with what is in place today, and we think that one of the things that needs to come out of the current conversation is a much more stringent approach to how we keep this infrastructure insulated from the interest of the narco traffickers. But other than that, I think for us, this is an infrastructure that we use that has been going well, and that has been more impacted by lack of rainfalls a few years ago than it has been impacted by the Chinese that in different parts of the operation.
You're still not sailing through the Red Sea. What needs to happen in terms of the security situation for you to feel comfortable to resume that route?
We are looking at the security and the safety situation on the ground. But the second one is we need to see durability of the situation. The worst that we can do for the world and for our customers is actually to flip-flop back and forth, because this is causing huge disruptions in our customers' supply chain. So while all of them would like to see us resume sailing through the Red Sea, they have all been very, very clear on the fact that we get one shot to make that changes, and it needs to be a permanent change. And as long as we're not sure this can be permanent, it is important for us to continue to take the safe approach and keep the integrity and the resilience of their supply chain together.
I feel like, given our conversation, there are so many geopolitical concerns here. What worries you the most for 2025?
There is actually a big difference today between the different declarations and intentions that are being preferred and actually what we're seeing on the ground. I talked about, whether we see deglobalization or we see a reduction of the share of China. None of that is happening despite the much you read about it. And for a lot of what is happening today, it's really about getting focused on what are the true signals that we need to act on to continue to support our customers through these difficult times.
And he essentially said that it's all quite a lot of noise and that actually you need to dampen down some of the noise and just focus on what's actually happening on the ground. So much noise coming from the US administration, of course. The Red Sea may reopen for Maersk later this year. There's a hope that maybe in the second half of the year, but they don't want to resume that too early, given if they had to then close it. That is so much disruption for customers, but it is costing customers a small fortune to sail around the Cape of Good Hope, Richard. I think it's an extra 2 weeks on the sail.
And just imagine, Anna, put all that together with trade tariffs and the extra cost of inflation. We haven't time, unfortunately, to get into that at the moment, but I'm looking forward to delving deep in the days ahead. Thank you.